And we are live. Good evening, everyone. On Eastern Standard Time, this is Cynthia Ellis with BYOB, and I want to welcome you to our August Goals live stream, greatest of all live streams for entrepreneurs. And so everyone who's a part of BYOB is probably either one of two things. You're either already an entrepreneur or you're an aspiring business owner who wants to start your own business. Well, one of the best things that you possibly could do is probably join BYOB, because this group was formed last year to support the journey of entrepreneurs and folks who would like to become business owners. So every month, I like to bring on a special guest who can give us their point of view. And these aren't just any special guests. These are folks who are experts in their field, who are extremely experienced, and they have a lot of wisdom and knowledge that comes with them in the business industry. And tonight we welcome Jason all the way from Ontario, Canada. And I'm loving his backdrop because he's on holiday, you guys. So he's actually at a lake right now. But let me introduce you to Jason just a little bit before he starts to tell us a little bit about himself. He says that his goal is pretty much straightforward, and he likes to help purpose-driven business owners generate more clients, close more sales, increase their overall revenue and profits. And he does that quickly and inexpensively, which are two things that I absolutely love. Quick and inexpensive. And he delivers results. So that's actually three things that I love. But he specializes in sales and marketing for small business owners, and he's been in the business for over 25 years, you guys. He's got over 25 years of sales experience. He's developed a great understanding of complex issues and facing small business owners in the volatile economy that we live in today. And Jason and his team are just absolutely remarkable. I won't steal any more of his thunder. At this time, I present to you guys Jason V. Jason, will you please introduce yourself to our community tonight?
Sure, absolutely. So again, my name, Jason Vilon. I see you chose Jason V because it's easier to pronounce with those letters that are...
I made sure I got it right.
Well, it's better than being called Vilon again. So Vilon is the way you do it. And yeah, I am happy to be joining you from Muskoka, Ontario, cottage country in by the lake. But you basically hit it spot on. 25 years experience. I just absolutely still love doing what I do. And in fact, I moved from the corporate world and helping those guys to specifically only helping small and medium businesses, because that joy and reciprocation is immediate. And let's be honest, those Fortune 500 companies, they're going to be just fine. Right?
Yeah, they're going to be okay.
They don't need me anymore. And I love the immediate effect that it has when I help a small or medium business. Awesome. And just to get more information about what I do and the journey that I can take, or I took, if you care about that, but really you're here for information that can help your business. There is a free downloadable book on my website, and it's got the top 8 tips that I give almost every single client I have. And I put them in a book, yours free, download it. It's at thelifecoach.ca, not www, that won't take you there. So just thelifecoach.ca.
thelifecoach.ca. I'm going to put that in the comments down here.
There you go.
So you guys can take that link and download it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. So thank you so much, Jason, for that amazing introduction. You are an awesome individual, and we're getting ready to dive right into the conversation for tonight. But I do want to remind everybody that's watching on the live, I appreciate all of you tuning in. Definitely want you to share it. Give us some responses, give us some likes, some thumbs up. Let us know how you feel about the things that we're talking about. Feel free to express yourself in the comments, but most importantly, we want you to ask questions. So at any given moment, if you guys have a question that's on your mind that you just are dying to ask Jason Vilon or Cynthia Ellis, we are more than happy to answer, okay? So we'll take this time to also use it as a Q&A while we're providing some education and some structure for you guys. All
for
right.
sure. The more interactive, the better, right? It's more fun
Please,
that way.
please,
Yeah.
yes. Don't let us run our mouths this entire time and you guys not say anything.
That's
We're
right.
just gonna think we're bombing it if y'all aren't on here with us. So get involved and get active.
That's
But
right.
all right, tonight the topic is the top 3 mistakes that the majority or most entrepreneurs make when they're getting ready to start a new business. And this is a big deal. I definitely feel like because most businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years of starting, if they're not started correctly. So there are so many things that you need to consider when you're getting ready to start a business for the first time, especially if you're someone who doesn't particularly have a background in business or know a whole lot about business. It becomes quite challenging. But what Jason and I have come up with is what we each think are our top 3 mistakes or pitfalls that entrepreneurs make when they get ready to get started. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to take turns the nice way, like grown-ups do. And Jason is going to go first, and he's going to tell you his top 3 and try to help give you some solutions and ways to avoid the pitfalls. And then I'll go into my top 3 and do the same. But again, it's open and casual conversation. So I get excited sometimes, Jason. You might see me raise my hand and be like, oh, I got something. But let us know, Jason, what do you think your top 3 are? 3 mistakes for entrepreneurs who are just getting started.
Sure. Well, let's start off with the first one. But before we actually get to that, I'm going to kind of preface my list.
Okay.
So, full transparency, everyone out there, we haven't really talked about our lists other than maybe a title. Like that's pretty much it. So, when I made my list, I basically made the assumption that you guys have done your homework and answered the basic questions that any new home or business owner is going to need to answer. Is there a problem that you're solving? Is there an audience who needs that problem solved? And is there a need to solve it in the first place? So an example of that is like broken phones are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Is there an audience? Yeah, people break phones all the time. Is there a need to solve it? Well, fixing phones doesn't really work because a new phone, you can probably get it for free or whatever on a new contract or very, very inexpensively. So the cost of repairs doesn't make sense. So that's an example of answering the 3 questions in the right way.
Awesome.
So let's just jump right in. So I want you all to look back on your week, the week that you just had. So Thursday evening last week to now. Statistically, you've been subjected to 117,000 ads in that amount of time. These are all businesses who are trying to get their products or services into your hands. How many of those 117,000 ads can you remember?
That's a good question.
3, 4, maybe?
Maybe.
Out of those, how many products did you buy because of those 3 or 4 commercials?
Wow.
Probably not. So you and I are here to help show the top 3 fundamental errors, and I've kind of given you a glimpse as to where my list is going.
Love it.
But the number 1 mistake that I would like to mention is people fail to get professional help. So name your favorite sports hero, just whatever comes to mind.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. What lessons have you learned from him that you've taken into your life or your business?
Oh, be persistent.
Probably.
Be persistent and never give up.
Dedication.
Rely on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a leader.
So now, so these are things that you're learning from a complete stranger. Now think about those sports professionals again. Name one who doesn't have a coach. Right? So
that's a good
for
one.
me, Tiger Woods, awesome, groundbreaking athlete who changed and revolutionized the sport.
Yeah.
At any given time, he's got 9 separate coaches. Everything from his long game to his finances. He has at least 9 different coaches at any given time. So the same goes for your industry and social leaders. You mentioned a statistic early on, or at least something that should be kind of scary to a lot of people starting out a new business, but I'm going to tell you why it's not. It's actually good news. 75% of new businesses in Canada will fail in 6 years.
Wow.
In the US, 96% in 5 years. So your clock is even quicker.
Yeah.
So,
taking time,
hedge your bets. Stop wasting time reinventing the wheel. Everyone from Oprah to the Kardashians, I mean, we have to say that they're good at what they do anyway, whether we're a fan or not. But none of them made it without enlisting the help of coaches and mentors to teach them what they need to know and guide them in the direction that they need to go. So it's going to be our job over the next hour to basically change people's minds and increase their knowledge base and figuring out a new way of running their business. And if we can do that, then I think we'll be proving the need for a business coach and to have them on your side. So that's my number one. So
oh my God. Okay. How am I going to follow you? How am I going to follow you tonight? You know, I think we may just...
I can't wait to hear your list. Come on.
Don't do it.
Hit me with it.
This is going to be a hard follow, you guys. This is going to be tough. I'm going to do my best. But Jason is killing it. I'm like the amen corner over here. But oh my gosh. Okay. That was just number one. So I hope y'all are ready for number two. That is awesome, Jason. Oh my gosh. You gave me so much to think about in just a few minutes there. I'm gonna have to take some time to process that, really. Like, this is gonna be gold for the people listening in. I hope they honestly understand the value that they're getting tonight and the things that you're teaching. It is some of the most valuable material that you could give a fresh entrepreneur.
It's really quick. So please, I hope everybody can feel free to reach out, and I'm very approachable. I will answer any and all of your questions, but there's also going to be a little tidbit at the end for those who stick around that is a special offer that I want to make you guys. So be sure to stick around and you'll get even more out of this. But thank you very much for your kind words. Now, please don't keep us waiting. I want to hear your first one.
My first one? Oh, see, you're going to already put me on it. All right. And you know what? It's so funny because guess what my first one is? Lack of preparation.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Lack of preparation. Yeah, it does. So I just created and launched my first course, and it's called the Business Launch Blueprint course. And what it does is it takes entrepreneurs from startup to sustainability. And in the 6 pillars, my first pillar I feel like is the most important, and it's titled Prepare Yourself for the Journey. And that is one thing that I find that a lot of entrepreneurs have not done, especially when they start to seek me out for help. They've had an idea and it's kind of sat around for a while, and they're not quite sure how to get the information out of their heads into a legal form of business, into an actual business structure, and have it to be something that creates a consistent stream of revenue for them. So a lot of times as new entrepreneurs, we're extremely excited. We've got fresh vision. We have zeal, right? We're loaded with this huge amount of zeal, and we're so excited to get started that we often leave a lot of things open to fall through the cracks. And so one of the most important things that I feel like entrepreneurs can do is prepare themselves for what's getting ready to happen in their business journey. Now, do most new entrepreneurs, especially if they don't have a business background, do most people know how to even prepare themselves to start a business? Naturally, no, right? You just know that you typically have a great idea, something you want to share with the world, a nice product, a nice service, and you want to make money doing that. But what it takes in order for you to get there is outlining a mission, a vision, and in order to do those things, you have to first understand why. So there's a why question there that you have to answer. Why do I want to start this business? What do I want the end goal to look like? Is it just going to be me? Do I want it to someday transition over into an agency? Do I want to be able to hire and employ people and support families at some point? So why are you going to do the thing that you want to do so badly? Once you figure out why, what you're going to do is create that vision and mission to actually set a structure around what your vision is. And you have to write those things on paper. You know, they cannot just live in your head. They have to come out, and they have to come out flowing within a certain structure, within a template that if you will, just to create for yourself. And once you've done those things, you've got to consider things like, what is pricing going to look for you? What products or services do you want to offer? And something else that Jason mentioned earlier is, who are you going to sell your products to? Is there actually a need for the product or service that you want to offer the world? And if you do, you know, are you so sure that anybody else wants to purchase it? It may just be something that you're super excited about, but if you haven't studied the market for that, you may not have anybody to sell that to. Or your market could be a little bit too saturated to penetrate at that moment. So timing and SMART goals and all of these other things, definitely SMART goals. I always say that setting SMART goals in the beginning are core and essential to progress moving forward. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Setting the right goals, making sure you're breaking those goals down, not biting off more than you can chew, but making sure you're breaking those things down and you can take one step at a time to achieve what you need to get to the next one. The big goals will come, but you have to break them down into smaller events that are manageable, or else you get very overwhelmed at the beginning. So let's just circle back and say all of this is a part of preparation. And preparation is key to being successful at anything. And remember, you know, the practice makes improvement, not perfect. So continue to practice and practice and practice and prepare until you're at the point where you're ready to launch, file that business structure and legal forms, start developing business models and moving forward. But first you got to prepare yourself. And a lot of that happens internally and then out on paper until you're ready to show the world what you have. That's my number one. I don't know how well I follow Jason, but I tried.
Oh, that's key advice. And I think I'm lucky that I did the preamble where I made the assumption, because my advice might be a little too advanced, like farther down the road a little bit, because yours is really the foundation. It's the foundation that you're going to build the rest of your business on. Yeah. So excellent. That's great advice. And everybody has to understand that it can seem daunting at times, but that marathon starts with one step. Oh. Right. And it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't think it's a sprint.
Don't ever sprint in your business.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Oh, good stuff.
Excellent.
Well, thank you.
All right. So I'm getting a lot of good info here. I'm making notes, and is it my turn though?
It is your turn. It is your turn to hit number 2.
All right. So I've got to follow that one up now.
Yeah.
So the number 2 mistake that I have is that the new business owners, the people who are the entrepreneurs, they don't know the fundamentals required to successfully market business and attract as many new clients as they possibly can. There's an idea that you can just put your shingle out with your phone number and the phone's going to ring off the hook as long as your product is okay.
Right.
No. So first thing I want to do is define marketing, because my idea of marketing is really, really broad. Mm-hmm. It is any communication in any way between yourself and a potential client about your business. So that could be a newspaper ad, a social media ad, a billboard, a TV ad. It could be talking to someone in line in Starbucks.
Right.
Any of it. It's all marketing.
Yes, it is.
So what does marketing do? It's three things, right? You have to capture the attention of your target market. You did a great job of laying out why that's really important.
Yeah.
It must give them hope that by reading or listening to your marketing, that you will provide them with enough information to help them make an informed decision about buying your product or service, right? Rather than fluff. And then finally, and this is the most overlooked aspect of marketing, it has to, in some way, lower the risk in taking the next step in the buying process. And most of the time, marketing doesn't do that. And that's why marketing fails a lot of times. That 117,000 that you've seen?
Yes.
I'll talk more about that in a bit.
Oh my gosh.
In number 3. But there's an explainable reason why it doesn't work. So, why am I telling you this? Well, it's because most startups take a tactical approach instead of strategic when it comes to getting their name out there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Tons of startups will offer you bad advice based on their experiences, like, oh, don't use radio ads. I've tried that, doesn't work.
Right.
So you can go in and slot your bad experience in here. But basically, it's because they tried it based only on tactics, not having a strategic approach to it. And of course it's not going to work.
Right.
And then when something does work, they think that's as good as it gets. And that's a really sad truth. Most people, when thinking of how to market their business, they think of where to market it, and they ignore what you're saying and how you say it.
Right.
So just to split this up again so that you have a really clear definition. Tactics, right? Social media ads, direct mailers, radio ads, billboards, SEO investment, networking groups, your website, any person's website. Whereas strategy, the message.
Boom.
That's it.
2 words.
Exactly. So, without thinking about strategy, most people, in an effort to prove value to their clients, they load ads with platitudes instead of actual strategic messages. So we have the lowest prices, family owned and operated, the best value, the best service. We've been in business for 4,000 years.
With a huge
and my favorite
sticker.
yeah. And my favorite, convenient hours. Oh, come on.
Yes.
So if you're using things like that in your advertising, in your marketing, in your elevator pitch, anything, there's absolutely no way to prove a value to it. Right. And therefore, it's worthless as a differentiator between you and your competition. And if you can't communicate your company's true value to your client, then unfortunately you're forever doomed to compete on price. You're forever doomed to compete on price. I needed to say that again.
Say that again.
So,
yep.
Here's the thing about price, and everyone will say, well, that's a major objection that I get from my clients. They say, oh, it's too expensive. I can't charge that, whatever. Here's the statistic, and it's surprising to everyone I inform. Only 14% of people who say that's too expensive are actually saying so due to budget.
Only 14%.
14%. The rest of them simply don't see the value based on the price that you're asking them.
Right.
People don't purchase on price. They buy based on value.
Absolutely.
If everybody based on price, we'd all be driving Chevy Sparks right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. So here's an example of having a strategy and how it actually works. I'm going to try and do this really quick so I don't eat up all of your time.
No, we're good.
Moving company out of the States, facing bankruptcy,
Uh-huh.
essentially. Called me, and the first thing I did was pull apart their ads and their sales methodology and their lead generation, because leads are like the gas, right?
Right.
For your fuel, for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Sales is the combustion
Yep.
that gets it going, but you need the fuel to be there in the first place. So their ads are exactly what you would expect from a moving company,
Mm-hmm.
right? Big trucks, couple of burly guys on there.
Yep.
Said things like, we treat things like your own, or like they're our own. We're fully insured. We're open 7 days a week.
There's the convenient hours.
Yeah, come on. So I said, okay, a lot of this is platitudes, and this is not bringing people to you.
Right.
So I asked about that fully insured. Does everybody have to be fully insured? And he's like, well, yeah, but it really doesn't mean anything. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
He's like, well, in order for a moving company, to be able to say that they're fully insured, they have to have an insurance plan that covers damage by the pound.
Ooh.
So if they crush your home stereo system,
yep,
your home theater system, and it's like $5,000, but it only weighs 200 pounds, then you're only getting $80 back, because it's $4 a pound.
Oh.
Not $5,000.
Not cool.
And he's like, well, but I mean, everybody says that, so we have to do it. I'm like, you're not going far enough.
You don't have to. Yeah, dig deeper.
So what I said and what we did was, let's lean into that problem.
Okay.
You're going to get insured for the exact amount of everything that you move.
Wow.
And he's like, I can't afford that. We're going out of business. I can't afford it. I'm like, trust me, you're going to be fine. So he got on the phone, he got insured, the rates went through the roof, and he's like, I have to now charge more for my moving. I'm like, perfect.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's excellent. He's like, how is this good news? And he was going to reach through the screen and strangle me. So I said, listen, here's the ad we're going to run. And I gave it to him. And it was basically like a newspaper ad that said 4,000 residents a year take moving companies to court over damaged goods. And they lose. That was the headline. That was the ad.
It's already an emotional trigger.
Right? Then it told the whole story about how moving companies make the claim of fully insured, but it's only $4 a pound. And then their ad in there was, we are fully insured for the full amount of your items.
Now that's powerful.
So with that ad going at, so marketing again is have something good to say it well, say it often. So with the repetition of that, their calls went from 70 a month to just under 1,000. They had a conversion rate of 16% before that they turned into clients. It jumped to 68%. And they had to partner with 4 other competitors in the area to keep up with business.
Oh,
and
my
that transformation,
goodness.
that transformation happened around the 4th month of running the ad. That's where they became so busy, they had to bring the competitors on.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the conclusion of that story. They are no longer in business. Want to know why?
Why? Did he sell it?
Yeah. The 4 other competitors. The 4 other competitors got tired of what he was doing and what they were doing, 2 of them, and they bought them out for $2.3 million.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh my gosh.
Now one of them, he was old enough, he retired. The other is going into fishing equipment, I believe.
Oh my gosh.
With his half. So
that's crazy.
So that's the story of having a strategy. Don't just put your product out there like it's some menu.
Right.
You have to have a strategy behind what you're saying. So that's my number two. You really have to understand the difference between marketing tactics and strategy.
Look.
So
I'm just trying to keep up with you. You are teaching me so much. That
it's going in both directions. So I cannot wait for your number two.
Oh, well, thank you so much. So let's get into it. I've taken so many good notes. Okay, this is fun. I'm having a good time, y'all. Y'all know I get excited when I'm having a good time. And I don't want to forget about anybody online. I know Jason and I are like going ham right now on everything. So I hope you guys are soaking up all of this good stuff, because it is absolutely amazing information. And even if you don't catch it tonight, I'm going to be sure to post it on my YouTube page, so you guys will always have access to this information. And then I'll also transfer it to my website as part of just some free training videos and some open education for folks. But so we've gotten both of our number ones out of the way. Jason's first one was, and we're talking about the top 3 mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they're starting a new business. And Jason's first one was a failure to get professional help. My first was a lack of preparation, and Jason's second was not knowing the fundamentals required to successfully market a business and attract as many new clients as your business can handle. And my second is going to be failure to secure funding. And money is a topic that a lot of entrepreneurs try to avoid in the beginning, especially if they do not already have access to some type of startup capital. And as much as we want to avoid that in the beginning, we cannot. You cannot really successfully start a business and expect to have scalable operations if you do not have the proper funding in place to carry your business forward. Now, Jason just gave you a great example of some strategic things that he did with another entrepreneur to get them in the position of being able to handle more business, even though they didn't believe that they could do it. I was listening intently, because I would have been that entrepreneur shaking him going, what in the heck are you telling me to do? I don't quite understand it. But it's amazing how he trusted Jason to that point. And I'm going to get to securing funding in just a minute, but it just takes my mind back to what he was also saying in the beginning, is that you have to have the proper coach in place. Everyone needs the right coach at the right time. And thank goodness that he was there for that entrepreneur. Jason, you're just amazing to be there for people, to take them from, some of the dark places in business until they get tunnel vision where they see the light. And then what
did I say that we do at the beginning? We wake up every morning and we sprinkle sunshine on people's businesses.
We sprinkle sunshine on people's businesses. Y'all, look, before we went live today, we just had a casual conversation, and I told Jason, he read my entire purpose in 3 seconds when he said we just wake up in the morning and we sprinkle fairy dust on people's businesses. And I was like, you know what? I never knew that I wanted to be Tinkerbell, but apparently I do. And I just never realized that I wanted to be Tinkerbell for people's businesses. So I don't know. Whoever's watching, somebody drop Tinkerbell in the comments, please, or sprinkle some fairy dust. Let me see what kind of stars y'all can come up with that represent fairy dust for businesses. But anyway, we're talking about securing funding. There are so many different avenues that entrepreneurs can access to secure the proper funding. You just have to know where to look. So it's all about looking in the right places, right? And a lot of that comes from people who have had the experience of starting a business or who have access to that funding. Thank you so much, Tammy Maynard, for my fairy dust. I appreciate that. I will take it. But in securing funding, there are traditional funding methods, which is pretty much through your local bank and sources that you have. But there are also non-traditional funding methods, which are things like unsecured loans. So different types of businesses are able to get different types of loans, if that makes sense. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. So when you're applying for loans and you're a sole proprietor here in the States, we rely on your social security number, and we run your personal credit for those things, depending on what type of loan that you're looking for. Now, if you are an LLC or other corporation, what they use is your tax ID, and it is filed against your business credit instead of your personal. And so you could either go with traditional funding with a bank, like I was saying, or you could go non-traditional, and a lot of it unsecured funding with a different lender or a different source. Now, out of those two, which one do you think has the worst interest rate, Jason?
Personal, probably. I'm gonna guess at that one. If it's the same as Canada.
Yeah, I mean, really, absolutely. So, what you want to look out for is falling into a trap. And so with startup capital, you haven't really nailed down what type of profit or revenue your business is going to be generating. You should have an idea, though, and all of this is centered around the funding conversation. But you know what? You may not be an accountant. So you may need that coach, that financial coach, or an accountant to work with you to walk you through some projections of what you may feel like your business needs for the first 3 to 5 years, because we don't want to be in that 96% that Jason was mentioning of businesses in the States that don't make it after 5 years. So you want to make sure you have the proper things in place. And what I often tell folks is that money should not be the thing that you chase, but it should definitely be a resource that you plan to acquire and to keep it coming to you on a consistent basis to keep your operations going. It is just a resource that you can use, but it's that same resource that will help you retire. So you have to start out in your business with a good relationship with money. And I know that sounds weird because it almost sounds like I'm referencing money as a person, but you need to know how to handle your business finances, and you need to make sure that you can secure the proper funding to take your business in the direction that you would want it to go. So find the right people and find the right money for you to acquire initially, and figure out ways that you can make more and keep it coming on a consistent basis. But securing funding is key when you're starting your business. How'd I do, Jason?
Absolutely. And you dovetail amazingly into my number 3.
Hey, let's do it.
Which is awesome. Yes, absolutely. Once again, we kind of had the title of this talk. Mm-hmm. We went away to our separate locations, and based on our experiences, we came up with 3 completely different lists. But I think they go hand in hand, where yours is the building and mine is more of that profit after the initial foundation is laid. And you're talking foundation, rock solid foundation.
Thank you.
So the dovetail about bringing money back into the business after you've opened, that's my number 3. Number 3 mistake is they have no idea how to use their marketing to generate immediate cash flow.
Oh, now I'm waiting on this one. I'm ready for this.
So I'm just going to give this to you for free. This is something that, in fact, if you go to my website, thelifecoach.ca, there's an evaluation calculator that you can use. Not right now. Stay on the line,
y'all. Don't go
on the line right now. It's still going to be there. But essentially, you'll be able to run any of your ads through it to say how effective it's going to be.
Wow.
Honestly. But here it is. Our conversion equation will produce results, and it has produced results over and over and over again. It is tried, tested, and true, and it's a way to turn your marketing into cash flow.
Awesome.
To keep you in business. It's going to form the backbone of your strategic marketing plan right out of the gate. It's the foundation on which everything else that you say about your business in order to attract those clients is going to be based. So here it is. Conversion equation, 4 parts.
All right.
The first is the interrupt.
Okay.
You have to interrupt your prospect. So we must get your qualified prospect to pay attention to your lead generation marketing.
Yes.
Simple enough to say, right? But a lot more difficult to pull off in real life unless you understand what they're about, or what you're about to learn here. The interrupt is done through your headline. It's essentially the first thing that you say in a radio or TV ad, and it's the first thing that they read in a print or social media ad.
Right.
It has to attract the attention of your specific qualified buyer. You can't attract everybody. You have to attract your buyer. The second is engage.
Okay.
So the second component, engage. Once you have attracted and gotten people's attention, psychologically, they want to be engaged. If they are not, they'll go back to autopilot.
Absolutely, every time.
So once your prospect is interrupted, it's critical to give your reader the promise that the information that you're about to read or hear, information that's forthcoming, will help them in the making decision. In other words, it must help facilitate their decision to pick you over anyone else. This is the job of the subheadline. The interrupt is our headline that highlights a specific problem that your prospects are looking for a solution to, or a desired result that they don't have but want. So if that's the problem, then the engage is a promise of a resolution.
Ooh.
So don't worry, keep reading, and we'll solve this issue for you. That's your engage.
Wow.
Third component is educate. This is your playground. This is where, once you've interrupted, you've engaged your prospect, you have given the information, or we have given them the information that allows them to logically understand that there is a problem. I understand there's a promise of a resolution. Now it's your turn to basically prove it. Walk them logically through how you are going to solve that issue or bring them the desired result that only you can bring them. This is accomplished by giving a detailed, quantifiable, specific, and revealing informational download that's easy for them to understand and digest. Typically done in the body copy or the main portion of your radio ad. When we educate, we need to reveal to your prospects the important and relevant information that they need to know in order to make not only basically it's a good decision that they go with your company and you alone, and they'd be a fool if they went anywhere else. So that's the educate portion, and it has to be done with a certain amount of nuance so that you don't lose them, right? So interrupt, educate, interrupt, engage, educate, and now the fourth and final component, the offer. So now that you've interrupted, you've provided them with a promise of a resolution. Once you've given them the problem, you've stated under absolutely no circumstance can they go anywhere else to actually solve that problem. You now have to offer. It's the next step in your sales process. So you have to make it a low risk way for them to take that next step. And we do this by offering free marketing tool, maybe a report, a brochure, seminar, video like the one that you're going to post after this. Your offer has to or will allow you for even more education, for them to finally make that final decision to call and buy from you, right? You have to basically tailor that offer to the various stages of the buying journey.
Absolutely.
The future buyer is asking, why should I buy in the first place? So offer them something that's going to show them why it's awesome to have your widget. The second is the soon-to-be buyer, and they're asking, why shouldn't I buy? They're trying to look for the red flags and find out what's wrong here. Right? And that's where
ready to object.
Right. That's where the objections come up, as opposed to at the point of sale, like a lot of people think. So make an offer that's going to overcome those objections. Then finally, you have the now buyers, and these are the less than 1% buyer of your potential client base. They're ready to buy. They're asking, who should I buy from?
Right.
And you should be offering them vendor selection criteria and an offer that works for them. Maybe it's just a little nudge. Maybe it is something like a discount, although I really shy away from those.
Yeah.
But now that you know this formula on how you can make the most out of each and every one of your marketing efforts, remember, it's an elevator pitch, it's a billboard, it's a social media post, it's a TikTok, whatever.
Right.
If it's about your business, it should follow the conversion equation. And now that you know the formula, you can see why those 117,000 ads got it wrong. Mainly, they contain 2 of the 4 aspects.
Right.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what I see all the time. They interrupt, right?
Right.
Maybe they have a talking animal or one of those sports figures that we talked about, right?
Right.
Great. They grab your attention. Then they skip right to call now for whatever.
Yep.
Wah, wah. Right?
Absolutely. Cue the music.
Not the way. Yeah, exactly. So that kind of marketing is actually fine if you have the budget of a Fortune 500 company.
Exactly. If you're
and
Walmart.
You can splash, and then you can splash things go better with Coke all over the place, right?
Really?
And eventually they're going to get someone to remember Coca-Cola the next time they're thirsty.
Right.
However, most of us don't have that kind of budget.
We don't have that luxury.
So here's the other fabulous thing about the conversion equation and why it's going to bring you the revenue and the cash flow you need right away. The conversion equation will reduce the number of touch points that a client needs to make a buyer-making decision from 20 to 100, which is Fortune 500 budget,
right,
down to 5 to 12.
Oh, highly efficient.
Much more manageable.
Yeah.
Much more. So remember, the conversion equation is still just a tactic. It's, however, the best way to deliver your strategy. So you must have something good to say first. The example of the movers, the conversion equation wouldn't have done them any good unless they had that something to say.
Right.
So that's my number 3, conversion equation. There is an equation calculator on my website that you can check out, so thelifecoach.ca, under evaluator, and run your website through it, run your next ad through it, run your next social media post through it, and see if it's going to be successful or not. So that's my number 3.
I know I'm going to go to your website and run my website through your equation. That is so awesome. It is so awesome. And I was actually having a similar conversation with another entrepreneur this morning in Philadelphia. We just did a live together yesterday. His name is Ben. And we had this entire conversation today about that 1 to 3% that are actually what he called hot leads that are ready to purchase. You know, that you've got a percentage of folks that are just ready. And if you have the link available and you have the best price, they're just going to click and purchase. That's just who they are. But
what about everybody else?
What about everybody else? You know, they're still part of your target audience. You still have an opportunity to convert them. So why not employ that equation and make it possible? Why not?
That's right.
I don't have an answer to that because I'm going to do it. I don't know what you guys on the live are going to do. I'm definitely going to do it. Um,
let's run into and not keep us in suspense any longer.
yes.
What is your number 3?
So my folks, I love fundamentals because I am a startup specialist. My last mistake or pitfall that a lot of entrepreneurs make is biting off more than you can chew. Can you imagine when you're first getting started and how excited you feel? And as entrepreneurs, and Jason, you tell me if you still get like this sometimes, we are flooded with all kinds of ideas of new things to do all the time, and things that we want to try in our business, and all of these things that we want to bring on board with the one thing that we're doing, and then nothing's matching up. So you got a product over here, and then you have another service over here, and they are not within the same industry, in the same realm, anything. But we're just kind of sprinkling all kinds of stuff in there because we're hearing people talking about different streams of income, and we can generate revenue over here, and we can do this over there, and there's a market for this. There's an opportunity, you can sell something over here. That is biting off way more than we can chew, okay? So bring it back into perspective and say, this is the product or service that I want to start with, and this is where I need to keep my focus. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have great ideas and new ideas, but one of the things that helped me when I started, eventually what I did, instead of jumping all of these different fences and hurdles, is I got a journal. I bought a journal, and every bright new idea that I had, I would journal it and write down. I would make a conscious effort to write down, how does this play into what I'm already doing? Or does this have anything to do with the vision that I've already set forth for the business that I've started? And if I could not connect the dots anywhere, it would stay in that journal until I felt like maybe somebody else will come along that I could pass that idea on to, because evidently it is not for me, at least not at this time. But you have to be able to separate what it is that you're currently pursuing versus some of the thoughts that you get about some things that you would like to pursue. And there's a very big difference. And a lot of times when we're just starting out as entrepreneurs, especially if we don't have a coach guiding us, so you need to hire either Jason or myself, because you need a consultant or a coach by your side when you're just starting. I'm just going to put that out there because it's the honest goodness truth. You need somebody. Because you're going to, most of us as entrepreneurs who are new, we lack the expertise that we need in that particular industry or in business in general to go as far as we like to go. And we do not have the amount of support that we need. So it's important that we surround ourselves with the right type of support, that you network with other entrepreneurs in your community. Things like your local chamber of commerce here in the States, wherever you are, those folks that you can connect with to talk about economic development when you're being challenged with things going on in your own community that may affect your business. And just taking on too many tasks generally. I kind of stated this before in number 2, and I will say it again, but break things down into small pieces for yourself. Starting a new business is a big elephant. And if you're going to eat an elephant, you're going to eat it one bite at a time. And I hope animal cruelty people don't come on this video here or on YouTube and attack me for saying that. It's just a metaphor. Don't really mean it. What I mean to say is that sometimes tasks are extremely huge, and we have big dreams. And I think you should dream so big that you scare yourself. But it is not your responsibility to act on every single one of those thoughts and dreams that pop into your head. So when you're new and you're just starting out, make sure that you have a structure and strategies in place, like Jason mentioned earlier, because those things help you stay on track with your original goals and plans that you created. So that is my number 3, is make sure that you just do not bite off more than you can chew.
100%. I mean, that you couldn't have said it better. It is a bit of the elephant thing, or the marathon where you have to start with one step, do it at one step at a time. But if you start doing a whole bunch of marathons all at once, then what happens is, and there's a great author, Stephen Leacock, one of my favorite quotes. He said that the knight leapt on his horse and he made off in all directions.
Mm.
meaning he didn't get anywhere.
Anywhere. Right.
So, and that's what happens if you're signing up and you're trying to run a whole bunch of marathons all at the same time, and they're all going in different directions. You're going to be right back where you started.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So,
That's it.
yeah,
Oh,
100%. I absolutely agree and endorse with your entire top three. I can't.
likewise,
I,
Jason.
yeah, I cannot say that it is essential enough. Like this, that should be textbook advice that everybody gets when they start out their new business.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 100%. I would agree with all of yours. We
Look,
could have had a top
and
25, let's be honest.
yeah,
But
yeah, we really could have. We really could have. You know what?
these
And
are
we're
the
I said 45 minutes, and here we are at 7:56. And it always happens. It is just it always happens, and I absolutely love it when it does, though. But Jason, not only do I endorse your three, I endorse you. You are
thank you.
just absolutely awesome, Vilon. And thank you so much for coming on the live tonight and sharing your knowledge and your expertise with every entrepreneur in BYOD and everybody who's going to see this video,
I
because
knew
they're
this was going
definitely
to be
going
a
to be
good.
impacted by your advice. Definitely going to
Thank
be
you.
impacted.
I knew this was going to be a good time because of the way you run your forum, your outlet in BYOB. I imagine it is the way you run your business. I imagine this is just how you run your life.
Yeah.
And couldn't wait. I couldn't get on this call fast enough. So in fact, it was like early today, and I'm like, where's the link? Where's the link?
Oh my
So I am a fan of yours, and I can't wait to see more of you and your output.